Good day, dear colleagues. The topic of our presentation, chemistry of medicinal plants as an integral part of ecological education. You can see our presentation content. A widespread misconception that natural always indicates safe and the consumption of the natural product does not carry a risk has limited applicability. A significant difference exists between synthetic medicaments and herbal medicines. The first category usually contains one active pharmaceutical ingredient, API, and clearly defined chemical and elemental composition. Each herbal preparation is always a polypharmacy. Medicinal plants can contain large and variable amounts of organic compounds and always contain elemental impurities. The composition and quality of plants simultaneously depend on various botanical, geological, and environmental factors. Plants receive chemicals from the environment in several ways. Pollution of air, soil, and water by human economic activity products has a critical impact on plant, so that the objective situation requires increased attention to the environmental friendliness of plant raw materials. The work aimed to study the variability of the chemical and elemental composition of medicinal plants in the example of St. John's wort. Particular attention is paid to the impact of environmental conditions of Ukraine. Then necessary changes are proposed to the curricula of a few chemical and technological disciplines in future pharmacists and pharmaceutical technologists training. They aim to strengthen the ecological component of education. Use this slide to demonstrate you our experimental scheme. Popular medicinal plants and John's wort provided by different producers was taken as an example to study environmental impact on the chemical and elemental composition of plants. You see several lines in this scheme. Literature data on composition of St. John's wort from different countries was studied, and the elemental and chemical composition by literature was established. You see line with experimental dates. St. John's wort herbal of different Ukrainian producers was studied with different methods, analytical methods, sample preparation by microwave decomposition, and elemental analysis by flame atomic absorption spectroscopy and molecular spectrophotometry and chromatography for analysis of organic compounds. And the Ukrainian market of medicinal plants and herbal medicine was studied. We obtained the example comparison, and you see line for research outcomes. Now we have different origin samples for analysis and composition of a number of samples and composition variation. The stability of elemental and chemical composition of herbal medicines was experimentally studied using samples of herbal St. John's wort of different origin and compared with literature data. After that, you see the results of our works. You see proposed changes to curricula in analytical and pharmaceutical chemistry for bachelor levels and changes to curricula and pharmaceutical development and pharmaceutical quality system for master's levels to form of environmental thinking at these levels of study. Next slide demonstrates our results. A number of drugs of plant and synthetic origin for 5 therapeutic groups registered in Ukraine. You see groups and herbal medicine in green and synthetic medicines in red. For example, the number of herbal medicines in group 5, you see their description, and group 5 exceeds the number of registered synthetic drugs. You see structure of registered herbal medicines and herbal substances by dosage forms in the market of Ukraine and structure of herbal substances in the diagrams. You can see that among 364 substances, 347, 95% are of Ukrainian origin. Most plant raw materials enter the market after significant pretreatment, including grinding and mixing different parts of the plant. Plants turn into powders, extracts, crushed mess, etc. The primary forms account for a little over a third. You can see difference in concentration range in microgram per gram of dry weight of some elements in St. John's wort by various authors. You see difference for different elements. Big difference. And the number of studied samples as a function of max to minimum concentration ratio reported in literature. You can see that copper and zinc show the best concentration stability ranging from 10 to 100 microgram per gram, the normal distribution of individual data, and the composition stability demonstrates minimal environmental influence. Manganese and iron vary over a broader range. Traditional concentration range are 10 to 20 to 100, 150 microgram per gram, while sometimes the content of iron and manganese increase tens or even hundreds of times. The anthropogenic load on plants is much higher concerning manganese and iron compared to other elements. Toxic cadmium and lead are not vital in plants. Their content depends on the environment. They absorb large variation of concentration, reflects the environmental influence. Lead and cadmium content met the exciting standard and in all herbal drugs. Some wild samples exhibited dangerously high levels of lead and cadmium. The content of hyperforin varies between 0.35 and 1.15% in samples of different producers. There was found no clear correlation between the elemental composition and the active pharmaceutical content. The existing standards of collecting and processing herbal raw materials and manufacturing herbal medicines don't fully ensure their composition stability and effectiveness. Therefore, the environmental impact needs increased attention, including improving environmental knowledge among specialists. The problem can be solved by forming the required competencies in the training of prospective pharmacist and technologist of industrial pharmacy. Necessary changes to the syllabi of some fundamental and technological disciplines are proposed. Next two slides demonstrate you proposed changes for the formation of environmental thinking at bachelor's level. You see names the topic and expected knowledge and learning outcomes for different educational components, analytical chemistry and pharmaceutical chemistry, and proposed changes for the formation of environmental thinking at master's level, the same table, for master's level, educational component, pharmaceutical development, and pharmaceutical quality system. The last two slides demonstrates you conclusion our article. Thank you for attention.